Baker.
Bearcat Bounce Podcast. I'm back at it again. Happy Monday, guys. Happy Monday. Take me to higher ground. I don't think that's how Jawan sang it, but you get the gist. Monday, football, fall camp, camp higher ground, tasty Monterey Ranch chicken sandwiches, pads hitting, year 2, Big 12 football, year 2, Coach Scott Satterfield era. We got a lot to dive into. It's been fun finally seeing the coverage of football as we get ready for the excitement of the football season. We're going to dive into all that. And of course, also it's a Monday following a culmination of a summer in the Monster Factory, where the Monster of the Summer was awarded, and some excitement continues to brew for year 2 in Big 12 for basketball as well. And of course, some Olympic success. Of course, there's plenty of other storylines that have been able to derive from the past week, but it's also a Monday where I bring in guys. The whole crew is assembled. We're ready to rock, we're ready to roll. And without further ado, it is Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing good. I'm still, I told you when we first got in here, I'm still trying to get the salt off of my face from practice today. It was a scorcher. But okay. Ryan will remember this. Tomorrow, Ryan, we get night practice. Do you remember, I think it was your senior year, the night practice that literally was so humid it felt like we were just standing in a bowl of like hot soup for 3 hours?
I do. Those were the days, man.
Those were the days.
Well, like, you think like the sun goes down, okay. The sun goes down, okay, like the temperature will regulate some. And for whatever reason, the darker it got, the hotter it felt. By the end, I lost 10 pounds at that practice, and I barely moved. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow, is what I'm saying.
I always think the worst is like right when warm-up hits and the sun's still out and it's just humid and it's just been baking on you all day. I definitely don't miss that. And like you're just groggy because it's like 5 p.m. and you're like doing warm-ups and the coaches are all screaming because the head coach probably said, "You better get your guys ready to go."
Yeah. That was like the thought of night practice is great, but everybody prefers morning practice, right? Like, get out there. It's still heating up. It's not scorching yet. They moved this year, Ryan. They don't start until 10 instead of like 9.
What do they do before?
I don't get there at 9 anymore. I get there 9:45, roughly.
I get to sleep a little more. Those lucky MFers.
I'm sure they have them up early. Like, come on. Nico's not letting them sleep at like, practice it until 10. You guys can get up at 8:45. No.
Gotta get Mitch. You get Mitch knocking on the doors. That's the best way to wake up there.
With the horn.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever despised a human more in my life than Mitch when he would blow the horn outside of my door on day 10 of higher ground. Yeah.
Day 10. Gosh. Well, no, so night practice.
Not to say anything bad about Mitch. It's just, if you were there, everyone didn't like him when he was waking you up.
Well, it's understandable. I don't think anyone likes being woken up. But no, so night practice, but they then reward the boys with snow cones, or is that just one special night practice? It's not every single one. Yeah.
1 year they did ice cream. They've done snow cones. The ice cream truck is probably my favorite. The snow cone truck is good too, but the soft serve ice cream truck, that's
chef's kiss right there.
That's good
chef's
stuff.
Kiss. Speaking of chef, we do get to hear your first thoughts. We're gonna have to dive into that on the Melio today.
I don't know if Royer's with me on this or not, but the ice cream hits better at night. Like, I'm not like, I don't need soft serve ice cream at noon, 11, 12. Like, I'd much rather prefer that at like 8 o'clock.
I agree.
Aaron, you're a ice cream in the morning guy?
Anytime. I am ice cream. I'm down for ice cream. The only time I don't like ice cream is if I'm drinking alcohol because it doesn't mix well. But outside of that, good to go.
Wait, so Chad, was this day 3?
Day 5.
5.
Okay, so was today their first higher ground day? Okay.
Yesterday was their first higher ground day, but it was closed to the media. So today was the first.
Oh, really?
At higher
They
ground.
had them go on a Sunday?
Yeah.
They
traveled. They relocated on Saturday, and then had practice yesterday.
When we would do it, we would do practice Saturday,
right,
and then have meetings Sunday. Get there. Wait, no, I can't remember if we got there Saturday. We just like got to chill there all day Sunday with meetings and.
No, I think it was practice like Friday, Saturday, travel on Sunday, and then practice on Monday.
Have you got the word on why they did 2 extra practices in Cincy? Is that just what they've been doing?
Too.
They did 4, you said?
3.
I thought we only did. Oh, okay, 3. I can't remember if we did 2 or 3.
Well, you have 4
acclimation days.
2 with no pads, 2 with shoulder pads, and then the 5th practice you get full pads. So even Luke at times, I think the COVID year you didn't because he just wanted to get out there. But every other year they would start at
lock us down
for 2 or 3 practices and then head out there. Who was this came up today? Who left? I know Marcus Brown left. Who left with Marcus Brown?
Oh shit, what's his name? Number 37, who played linebacker for a little bit. He got converted over from DN.
Yeah, I know.
Florida.
No.
I should know him. He was in my room. He was like he's kind of like a crazy dude.
He's from Florida.
It was Brown, him, and Brown got there and he was like, oh shit.
Well,
I made a big mistake.
Yeah, Brown thought like it was like, oh, I can opt out and I can just come back at any time. That guy, he never came back, right? He left and they were just like, all right, that's it for you.
He was done because he already kind of gotten some issues. So I think they were just like, all right, you're not coming back regardless.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking it up right now, and he's not on any of the. Number 37 is not on any of these. You got Stephen Hawthorne, the Chicago guy.
That's who it was. It was Hawthorne. Yeah, Steve.
He's Chicagoan.
Yeah, I messed that up.
Windy City, the Windy City. But yeah, I mean, shouts. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not for the meek. But Royer, what are you doing? It's a night practice all day. Is it meetings all day? Are you trying to chill your best? Is it the fun day at the water park? What do you guys do?
Hell no. If we got practice at night, they're not doing that for the water park. But
yeah,
we get to sleep in just a little bit more. We wake up, we go to breakfast, we do meetings, then we do walkthrough, then we do lunch, and then we do some sort of like recovery type of like lift/stretch, and then we'll go back to meetings, and then dinner. No, wait, we go from recovery, lift, stretch, back to our room, chill for a little bit, and then we go to dinner, and then from dinner we go back to night meetings, like pre-practice meetings. Then we head out there and stretch. And normally on those days we kind of get after it. Like we're doing like a lot of like good on good and like high leverage stuff and like kind of essentially scrimmaging, doing a lot of like one-on-one drills, like position work, special teams work. It's always like a pretty like it's like the first day of like, all right, like let's see who's got their shit to them this year and who's ready to go. Who can we count on? It's like the real first day of putting that to the fire.
Yeah, that was the Alec versus Sauce day. I was at the one night practice and that was must see TV right there. But it also gives the media members and those who might try and drive to Camp Higher Ground to maybe try and hear just some sounds, maybe little sights that they can sneak in and see something, but media only. But it also gives them time to head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Get an oil change. Chad, go get your tires rotated over at Danco. Anything that you could do to let Danco Joe hit up the car, get it fixed up, get you $10 off the oil change, get you 10% off your next service. Danco Joe, Danco Transmission Auto Care. We love you. Mention all
I'll
of
be
us.
heading in there this week, man.
There we go.
The best.
For what, a little
A little oil.
okay, and then a little Mexican lunch, little
Hopefully,
tasty.
if I don't have anything to do, if I don't have to bring my work laptop or not, I get an escape with the man Danco Joe.
A cerveza or two, one of those big old margaritas. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice for you. Early afternoon fun. But tell him Chad sent you. Tell him Ryan sent you. Tell him Aaron sent you. Aaron, sir, how are we? Welcome to the party.
How was day one?
We all survived. Rachel's back to work, so it was daddy daycare with 4 kids today.
Underrated movie, but you recreated it.
Better you than me.
Yeah. My mom came into town today though to help out, so
Okay.
that just let me get my feet under me. So we're good.
Surviving to dance. March came early for Aaron Smith and the old kids, huh? Just one day at a time.
Ryan, are you going to join us Saturday?
What's going on?
Scrimmage, Nippert.
Oh shoot! I think I can. Saturday.
I think I can.
Because I gotta move. I gotta move next weekend, so this would be good.
Oh, where are you going? The boy heading back to Columbus?
No, moving into Hyde Park.
Okay.
Out of the artistry.
Good spot.
Should be fun.
Take you to Hyde Park. Gotta love that.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Let's just dive into full camp talk. Obviously, BCJ has been all over it. Chad, you and Keegan killed it. Dave on Friday being there. Practice 5, the first, as you mentioned, for the media at Camp Higher Ground. And obviously, before we dive into the football talk, we do need to ask, how was the food selection for you on day 1 there, Chad?
So we got Monterey Ranch chicken sandwiches day 1 for us, which always a delight. They weren't as good as I remembered today. Like, one of the things that makes those things great is like a flaky croissant, and the croissants felt maybe they're a little older today. I don't know. Maybe they cooked them yesterday or something. Like, I just didn't have the same. It was a fastball, but it was like a fastball, like belt high. It wasn't like on the black.
Right.
So it was still good, especially that you get that homemade bacon ranch. That's outstanding. But they were solid, but it was instead of like a 9.3, it was like a 7.4. Okay.
So not too much stocking. And also last year the Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich came after, a team watching team practice that the team was not very good. Maybe this year the team looks a lot better, so you go in not as hungry. It's kind of your appetite's already satisfied.
Although Ryan would be proud of me. I've been meal prepping. And by meal prepping, I just mean the night before I make a sausage, egg, and cheese burrito and just heat it up in the microwave and take it with me, because a breakfast value meal at McDonald's is like $11 now for a little tiny bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, a small hash brown, and a sweet tea. It's like $10, $11. So I've been meal prepping, and by meal prepping, I just mean making a breakfast burrito the night before.
Give shouts, Ryan. Give shouts.
Shout out, Chad, man. There we go.
I make a mean sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast burrito. Just sausage, egg, and cheese. And then I have some Skyline hot sauce. I have packets, and I take those with me and put it on there as I eat it. I'd like salsa. I'd like salsa, but I mean, I don't know if I like it enough where I'm going to go out and get like small plastic cups that they have, so I eat it in the car on the way there.
Yeah, a lot of chances for spillage too. So
yeah,
the saucer out there.
The little packets of Skyline hot sauce work out great.
There you go.
Preferably I use the hot sausage as well.
Oh, good
like
pick.
The spicy sausage, breakfast sausage.
Are you like an open the packet and squirt it in pause and then like and then eat the burrito afterwards? Or are
No,
you
you take
on
the
the burrito?
burrito and you put it across like where the 2 bites are gonna come from.
Okay.
And then you
Okay.
get 2 bites out of it, and then you do it again, and then you get 2 bites out of it, and then you do it again.
That hey, just wash, rinse, repeat. I love it. I love it.
Usually
Hey,
go through 2 packets of salsa or 2 packets of hot sauce per
Yeah.
burrito.
at least. Good. And
Yeah.
and that's talking food on the BBP. Let's talk some football. Football is upon us. It's awesome seeing sights and sounds, just clips, and then of course reading all the practice reports and different interviews after the practices wrap up as well. But Chad, first day back out at higher ground, full pads first day as well. Just go ahead and just give us kind of just an overview. Obviously, Keegan has posted some notes on the board, but give us some overview as far as what you saw first day full pads at higher ground.
It looks like, and I've talked about this a little bit, it continues to look like we're settling in to a ones and twos on the back seven at least. I don't think I think they're getting to the point where they know like who their top 6 or 7 safeties are, who their top probably 4 or 5 corners are. They linebacker is going to be really interesting because they've got, I think, six guys that could play a lot of snaps and be relied upon at linebacker. They're still toying with the defense. I think you're still seeing, and Ryan will attest to this. There's usually always, at least early in camp, 1 or 2 of the walk-on defensive linemen that are getting a lot of reps just because they know what they're doing. Like they're kind of bringing the younger guys or the newer guys, the transfers, they're bringing them along. So you're seeing a little bit of that. Feels like your guy Mulaney's been getting, second team practice reps for forever.
Mulaney? I didn't know he's not on. I don't think is he still playing?
Is he not?
I think there's another dude with his number.
Oh. I just honestly, I'm not going to lie. If there is, I just saw the number and just assumed it was still him, I think.
That's hilarious. Did you think I was still there with Brady Young at punter?
No, I mean, I'm aware of that difference.
Wow.
Just snuck out there, though.
Oh, it's Ben Blevins.
Yeah.
Ben Blevins is 57, D-line.
Yeah.
The old scholarship recipient from the Kelsey brothers. There we go.
I just didn't know that he switched to 57. That's on me. Mm-hmm. That's my bad. I literally just saw 57 and my brain said Mulaney and I didn't question it. Because he was out there like for so many years, it felt like running on the second team D line.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, so I think they're and you're still figuring out Dante and what that situation is. So you're trying a lot, you're mixing and matching a lot, which that's what we saw them do with linebacker and especially safety in the spring. Now it feels like they are starting to get a little bit more settled there, a little bit better understanding of what they have and who they're focused on getting snaps when this thing kicks off. I think at least over the first 4 practices we've seen, they've had 5, we've seen 4. Ormani Arnold is a guy that I think is moving up and kind of, I think right now comfortably in that number 2 spot at corner, just based on the way he's played so far across from Jordan Young. And then, I've talked about it, safety. I think you're going to see Minkins, you're going to see Mekhi Miller, and you're going to see Derek Canteen back there, I think, with that first group. But Kai Stokes and Logan Wilson and then Jaquan Sanks, and I'm going to throw a new name in to the mix today.
Okay.
Marcavius Sabor.
Really?
Flashed multiple times at that star position. He was kind of, there's 3 of them between Peak and Jaquan Sanks. Those three guys are kind of rotating in behind Mekhi Miller at the star position. Sabor made some plays today. Noticed him like 3 or 4 times where it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He came to have himself a day.
What's a trend? All the freshmen are kind of just blowing up, it seems like. So that just adds Sabor to the list as well. I mean, you've heard it in your reports, you've heard through Dave with the pod last week. It does seem like the freshmen are going to get some run. I mean, Royer, I'm going to bring you in on this too. Was there ever a year where you felt like there was going to be a bunch of freshmen potentially cracking into that, that 2 deep, or was it kind of a situation where they're going to have to just earn it and it's a slow and steady rise and they might flash here and there. And then of course you have the ultimate outlier and Sauce, but it seems kind of uncommon, Chad, to see this many freshmen really kind of shine. I mean, we saw it in spring and obviously it's really continued here in the summer as well.
Well,
fall. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think that my freshman year, they gave a lot of guys in my class a lot of looks, like Kobe Bryant, Derek Forrest, Michael Warren. That kind of came right off the top of my head. Yeah, Alec was the year after me. But other than that, really, like the year after, like Alec's class, I don't think they got any more looks than my class did. But you got to remember, we were the first class coming in with Fickle. So he kind of like, they're like, oh, we want to see what like my guys can do against like this old staff full of players. But no,
Jarrell,
honestly, they
probably,
Jarrell, that's what I was forgetting. But really it was kind of like, it was never like a year where you feel like, oh, there's a lot of them. Every year there's going to be like 1 or 2, sometimes 3. You're like, oh, these guys are ready to go. Like they're going to get snaps. And like the coaches can tell that pretty soon. But honestly, with Sauce, that wasn't even the case. Like it took Sauce like
half the season almost.
Yeah, but like in camp, they're like, oh, he's got some talent, but it was still like he hadn't physically developed himself enough.
He was 107 pounds, Ryan.
I know. So Brady was working with them all off season, all in season, just getting them bigger, stronger, faster. And yeah, you could tell like midway through the year, like Chad was saying, that he was ready to roll, and it was really just waiting for his opportunity. With Cam Jeffries ended up going down with the back injury. And then it's kind of like, well, he's just too good to keep off the field at this point. So, but yeah, that honestly, we haven't the buzz you're giving right now about the freshmen. Like, I don't think we ever had that when I was there playing.
So there's a huge difference now, though, Ryan, because even though there was turnover when you guys got here, there were still a lot of holdovers from the end of the Tuberville regime. Like, the guys that ended up being good players, Brian Wright and Cortez and Cope, and, like there were maybe not as many in the secondary as there were at like linebacker and defensive line, but there were a lot of guys that had like sweat equity in the program, even though the staff was new. It's different now with the portal, man. Everybody's new. Like, they're on, like, the freshmen are entering on an even, like, battlefield almost, because, coaches are going to go with experience, guys that know each other, guys that have put in the time in the program. When there's so little of that, like, I think these freshmen are getting a chance to come in and actually have like a fair fight, if that makes sense, right? Like, they don't have to have overwhelming talent to beat out the guy ahead of them, because the guy ahead of them is just as new to the staff as the freshmen are. And, there have been a couple instances where early in a coach's tenure here, they have gone with a trend towards young. I mean, the most blatant was D'Antonio's second year. D'Antonio's first year, it was all seniors. Like, the entire roster almost was seniors, it felt like. So that second year, they went with one of the youngest defense. Actually, I think it was the youngest defense in the country on the field, where they had, Mickens and D'Lo and Haruki, and like it was an incredibly young group, and they took their lumps that year. But then by years 4 and 5, all those guys were the backbone of those teams that went to the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. So, and then Fick did it not as drastically. I think Fick used special teams more to get some of those guys on the field really early, and then use that to like jumpstart them. Like Kobe and Defoe were both on almost every special teams their freshman year, and then they were ready by the time they were sophomores. I think we'll end up seeing a lot of that.
Special teams.
Like special teams, like a guy like Grady on special teams. The safeties I think are prime candidates for special teams.
Yeah.
Sanks and
Willie Goodwin, Sabor.
Willie Goodwin. Yeah. So but I think Marquez Parker's gonna play a lot, probably.
Yeah. Simeon Coleman,
Montez Whedon is another linebacker that kind of popped a little bit today.
Coach Sat didn't even have to mention Whedon, and he mentioned him in the presser too, or post game interview. So it's just seems like he's a lot more than normal.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot more than normal. Just I think a lot of that though is because they're not blocked. Like their upward mobility is not blocked by somebody that you just are penciling in as a starter, and there's definitely space on that 2 deep for some of these guys. Even if they don't end up starters, they're going to get heavy practice reps.
Right.
Because there's opportunity there. So, it's, but like in contrast, it's different in the wide receiver room. You have 3 guys that I think are all going to be really good here at wide receiver. But because that wide receiver room has pretty good depth,
right,
you're not seeing a lot of those guys, Dakari Anderson and Cale Woodburn and Elijah Jones. You're not seeing as much of them as you are some of these guys on defense, because there's just opportunity everywhere on this defense for guys to step up.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring up a good point as well. Just special teams in general is another facet of the team that definitely needs to improve. And obviously, we've heard that Mace looks back to being his normal self that we remember from a couple years ago. And now that he's fully healthy. So I mean, if you put some hungry young dudes out there ready to kind of make their name and make a staple, then that's big time. So yeah, I mean, that's just one thing from afar, just reading and listening and whatnot, just hearing from you and from everyone else that's there. It's just, it does seem like the freshmen are just kind of just stepping up big time. And I mean, you saw in the spring, as I mentioned before as well, but yeah, it's only a good thing to hear. And I think, also defensively, like you mentioned, I think that the pod system thing probably had a big piece in the spring as well, where, as you mentioned, there's not some incumbent, starter that's still there, and you got to kind of earn your stripes type thing, or earn the sea paw, if you will. But instead, it's more so just, hey, everyone's getting a fair shot at it. And now we're seeing how good these guys are right from the jump. So I think that's a pod system win. Yeah, big time. So that was on the defense side. You kind of mentioned all that. And I'm going to dive in a little bit further on some position groups after we get a broad overview of the offensive side of the football. Seems like yet again another practice where numerous plays made down the field. But let's be honest, Chad, the pads were strapped on for the first time, and the dues of the day was given to the offensive line from Keegan. So what you got on the offensive side of the football?
Yeah, the offensive line was good. I probably would have gone maybe in a little different direction than Keegan today, but we were watching different things. That's the nice part about having 2 eyes at practice.
Yeah,
is we can kind of split up, and we're not reporting on the same stuff. He went and watched O-line, D-line one-on-ones for a little bit today, which, it's kind of tough to get to if you're not like forcing yourself to go get down to it, because it's usually during one-on-ones or 7-on-7 offensively, or the offense defense, that's the nice part is we can kind of watch different phases. If I was giving my due to the day, it probably would have been Joe Royer today. A lot of really good plays.
Brother.
Shouts to the bro.
Ryan's brother Joe. He's got better lettuce than you, bro.
Yeah, he's got the serious curls to his.
I asked him today, I was like, you had to think about cutting that off for camp, right? Like I know you won't, but that's got to be hot with that full head of curls on it under his helmet.
Maybe does he wear like a Scully or something, or does he just let it?
Is there a Scully that could contain that?
I'm sure there is.
He said he thought about going braids or going like cornrows or something.
Oh, that would be sick.
Yeah.
Shouts to the old Big Bird days when the tight end room all dyed their hair blonde that one year.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought Royer had a great day. He made a couple plays over the middle. The Go Bearcats football account put out one of the few, I mean, just a broken coverage.
He was wide open, yeah.
Wide. I mean, Samage hit the play action and just turned around and was like,
right.
touchdown.
I was expecting some sort of defense. I was like, oh well, that's an easy touchdown.
He was running free. I don't know if that was a blown zone coverage or whatever, but it's one of those things when, all of a sudden you start stacking talent, the defense has to make choices, and you can make them. You can force a defense into mistakes if they're worrying about, are they going to Henderson? Are they going to Tyron Smith? Are they, so that's I thought Joe had the best day I've seen him have, spring included, and then the first week of camp. He was really good today.
Well, Sat said that he thinks the tight end room is the most improved room that isn't getting any much attention that it deserves. Is that all due in part to Joe Royer? Because I know Joey Belgian's healthy now, but it's not like it's completely stock full deep of numerous names, but it's
no. I think I'm falling in love with the tight end.
Okay,
I'm starting to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Francis Sherman is a tight end, like a tight end's tight end, like the old school days of that guy that lines up, connected to the line of scrimmage. He's gonna block. He's gonna be a factor in the run game.
Yeah.
But I knew that part. Like I expected that part.
Yeah.
He's made some plays with his hands. Like he's made some plays going out in the field. And so if you're going to use 12, the one thing I've hated about 12, Ryan, I'm interested in if you agree with me. Like I thought when they had Lenny and Josh, I thought they kept Lenny in too much when they went 12. And some of that, you just want as much protection as you can get. But if you're going to have the weapon of like using two tight ends out in the formation, I want to see that guy that second guy out there and be a threat. And we're seeing some of that with Sherman. I just think he's sneakily he's a guy that they had at Louisville.
Yep.
So they know him. They know like what to expect from him. And two, he's an older guy that, I'm sure is looking to kind of make a name for himself now at his third stop. So I've been really impressed with Sherman towards the end of last week, and then again today. He was a name that popped up a couple times, making catches over the middle, or running the little whip routes and making a play in space. So I think he's a name that's going to surprise you.
I'm just picturing you singing along to T-Pain. I'm in love with a tight end, and it's very awkward. I can't not see this right now.
Well, yeah, the original version of that song
was not tight end. It was different.
No. Shouts to the boys out there that don't know T-Pain. He's got a good voice, good singing voice. Go look him up. YouTube. It's nice. Yeah, Francis Sherman, is he going to kind of take over that role that Caleb Schmitz had last year? Kind of,
I think so. H-back,
H-back,
fullback, lead blocker,
right.
Connected tight end. Kind of a little bit of a jack of all trades, using him in multiple ways.
Mhm.
So
Have they been
I
splitting Joe out a lot, or they've been keeping him
Yeah.
more in formation?
they've been using him almost like a wide receiver at times.
Would you say that he's more in trips or a split out duo? Did you
I haven't
notice
seen
anything
enough
with
of it, and I would probably get yelled at if I divulged that information.
that? I'm just wondering, like how he's doing in his matchups, because a lot of the time, sometimes if you go duo to the boundary, you might be getting more of that boundary safety look at you, or sometimes a linebacker, depending on what coverage they're in, or
I mean, they've
in
been
the
using him some in 11, so you have 3
yeah
wide receivers, and then you have Joe as essentially like the 4th
yeah.
wide receiver.
I
And
was just
then
wondering
a
if
little,
how he was doing against safeties versus linebackers, because theoretically the tight ends they like being matched on
well, but
linebackers. They just tend
theoretically,
to do
Ryan,
better.
with 3 safeties,
Yeah,
you're gonna get more safety look on
yeah,
him, I would guess right now, than a more traditional like nickel. You're not gonna put a nickel on Joe Royer.
yeah. Well, it's
It's just
good
not
that
gonna
I'm just kind of highlighting how it's you talking about how good he's doing. He's doing good against guys who are, I don't really know much about our safeties coverage game right now, but theoretically, if he's doing well against safeties, that's definitely kind of above par for tight ends. So
Yeah.
it's a good sign.
I mean, that's always, when he came out of high school, he looked like a wide receiver. He was skinny.
Was
He's
he
a
like
big,
Josh?
kind of, yeah. I mean, he's a little
Yeah.
shorter. Like Josh is, I don't think
Yeah.
people understand how tall Josh Wiley was.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Super tall.
But yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So and then Joey's Belgian's kind of the more inline.
No, Joey's a pass catcher.
Oh, he's out there
He's
too.
small. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
that's why I think Sherman is going to be on the field a lot, is because
Right.
like Gavin Grover is more of a pass catcher as well. So Sherman is really the only guy that they've got that can is going to be that connected tight. Like I can see Joe doing it some.
Right.
Like a
But
Bruno
I think
Lavelle.
kind of, yeah. I think that's fair. And I love Bruno. Like
Yeah.
Bruno was one of those like glue guys that you needed.
Yeah, he
that
was an
gonna
anchor
do
for us.
a
Big
little bit of
Maple,
everything.
baby. We'll call him the Big
Yes,
Maple.
sir.
So that's actually, Ryan, that is a great comparison. I really like that, because I think Bruno could do a lot of those things too. Like he was going to be connected most of the time. He wasn't just a guy that you're going to split out and have as a route runner. He's going to do a little bit of everything for you. That's the sense I'm getting from Sherman so far.
So offensive line, I'm going to stay on that one. And by the way, Crypt Keeper, yes, big T-Pain fan. Winner of the Masked Singer season 1. Sorry if that's a spoiler alert for anyone, but I think Masked Singer is on its like 5th or 6th or 10th season, so probably no spoiler. But go back and look at some of his songs. Great singer. Anyway, offensive line, is it still that Phil Wilder kind of getting that look at right tackle?
He's been the right tackle.
Okay. And then on top of that, is there any names that you kind of saw? Obviously, you said Keegan was on that side a little bit more, but that kind of popped a little bit, seeing them in the 2 deep or kind of in the mix of those 9 players that
Nothing yet. I mean, I'm still I thought they were better today. I thought the second team offensive line had a problem when they weren't in pads a little bit. Mm-hmm. It felt like like Brady was on the move a lot more than Sorsby was.
Right.
But didn't seem to be the quarterbacks weren't scrambling as much today. I thought the wide receivers had an inconsistent day. There were some plays I thought they should have made that they didn't. But Keegan mentioned the Xavier Henderson catch.
Explain that a little bit more. Is it just like tipped it to himself type thing?
Kind of, yeah. But with a guy like in his jersey, like like the ball was a little underthrown. They were doing so they do a little bit. They've been doing something a little different in one-on-one period. Instead of having the corner line up facing the receiver, he's lining up alongside the receiver, and they're just running straight go routes, like pure test of speed. Mm-hmm. So most of the time they're getting to the point at nearly the same time. Right. The ball was a touch underthrown. Henderson went up. I can't remember I think it was Gravy. But went up like through it, and Henderson managed to like get it back to himself and catch it as he was coming down. It would have been like if it happened in a game, we'd have seen it on Sports Center. Yeah.
Okay. Golly. I love to hear that. So wide receiver is Aaron Turner kind of been the surprise of the fall camp so far? It sounds like his name's mentioned
Smith
quite a lot. Okay.
Tyron Smith is got a chance to be really good. Like he's just really fluid in and out of his routes. He has good hands. He seems to be like when the quarterback puts it somewhere, Tyron Smith is there. Okay. I think that was one of the problems they had in the slot last year, is it was just inconsistent on the timing. Some of that offensive line related, again, some of it Emory related, some of it slot receiver related, but the timing was just never there. It seems like Sorsby and Tyron Smith kind of have a good connection already, to where, Sorsby throws a route while Smith's coming out of his break, turns around in a good spot. Like he just seems to be in the right place consistently, which for a guy you want moving the chains on third down, that is an invaluable trait for your quarterback and wide receiver to have.
Okay. Well, Aaron, anything more kind of?
Are you gonna let's?
Oh no, I was getting ready to.
Aaron
I was
getting
ready to move on
this whole podcast.
I was getting ready to move on. No, believe
Hi,
me.
Aaron.
Hi. I was letting him do the overview thing. I have questions for later on. We've been texting about it. We're good.
Hey,
okay.
I'm still driving the ship. But no. So, are you done as far as just kind of just broad overview of the day, and then I want to dive in a little bit more to kind of a couple player rooms.
I mean, it wasn't, it was a good practice. I thought the defense, for the second practice I've seen in a row, and I've talked to some people about yesterday, it sounded like the defense was pretty good on Sunday too. So look, I said this coming into camp. If the defense is supposed to be ahead of the offense right now,
right.
If we are out here and the offense is humming, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm going to feel real bad about the defense. Now, are there still some big plays? Like, the ball is up in the air 200 times in a 2-hour practice, right? So there are going to be some big plays happen, but the defense has showed out pretty well in the first couple days, which makes me feel like, okay, I'm not in like the DEFCON button. I still have the protector, like that protective case that they lift up. I still have the protective case over the DEFCON button for the defense. So, and that's where I wanted to be. I did not want to be sitting here going, guys, we are 5 days in and the defense doesn't have a pulse. Right.
I mean, remember last year though, it was wow, these new wide receivers they brought in from the portal in this fall camp
are roasting the defensive backs.
Yeah, Emory's hitting them deep ball after deep ball, and it's like, okay, is it?
Well, it just turns out the defensive backs were incredibly slow a season ago.
Right.
And people just ran by them pretty easy. I think Ryan could have hit a go route and caught a touchdown last year.
Oh, hell no. Hey, no way.
In your prime. Not now, but like back in the day.
Oh, man, that's not good.
got that no Lyle 40. Just hit him.
Yes, sir.
Be good. All right, let's pepper him, guys. Now thank you for the broad overview of the day. It was fantastically in depth, and I'm now ready for Aaron to take the podium. Let's pepper him.
Well, my biggest question, I guess, that I want to know now we got pads on is, first off, how much 11 on 11 did they do? And
there's more today. The number increased today significantly over what it was at Nippert.
Because that leads me to my next question, which is going to be, what does this defense look like? Like, I mean, do you feel like what major changes stood out to you with this defense compared to
athleticism, length, athleticism? Those are the very visible, significant differences, especially safety and linebacker. I mean, they can move, and they're long, and they look like they cover a lot more ground than was covered a season ago. I mean, again, you're not going to know until you see them against somebody else, but I mean, it just like the number of plays that have been made by the safety position. This could be scary because you don't want your safeties making all the plays, but I am noticing safeties constantly, which you got, of course, some of that I'm sure is you have 3 of them on the field now instead of 2. So there's an extra one that you're noticing that wasn't there before, but they make a lot of plays. That's, that, and I think we have to come to grips with this. It's not going, if Dante comes back, it changes the math a little. This is not going to be a dominant defensive line. I think it can be good if the pieces all fit into place, exactly how they should fit into place. But ultimately, this is not going to be, when they had Cope and Cortez, man in the middle, or when you have Mailbag coming off the edge and, 3 or 4 guys that paired with him perfectly. I think they can be okay. But if that's going to be the case, if you're not going to be great on the defensive line, your linebackers and your safeties are going to be required to make a lot of plays. And I do think they have a lot more. There's a lot more bullets in the gun from that front, Aaron. It felt like last year there was 1 or 2 bullets in the gun. And if you missed, oh boy, and they missed. They missed a lot. They were not that guy from Turkey. That might be my new hero.
Yeah.
Spirit animal.
Did you hear what one quick side? Did you hear Brent what he said in his post-game interview?
I didn't see the post. Just the picture is awesome, but no, I didn't hear the.
So apparently, the reason he took up shooting was because his wife left him and got a divorce, and that was his way of not losing his shit. So he started going to the gun range.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he started going to the gun range, and that's where he would take out his aggression. So they were asking him, that story kind of got around, and they were asking him, do you have any message for your ex-wife? And he was like, yeah, give me my dog back. And that was his message to his ex-wife.
If I was her, that dog, however much I love that dog, we got to.
That guy was the hero of the Olympics. He was the best.
Anyhow,
so
go ahead, Aaron. Back to Aaron.
Good to hear length and athleticism are up, but I guess I'm also wondering schematically, has anything stood out to you?
I'm not really actually that smart about what I think about, when I watch it on TV or I watch it from above and I can see what's happening. I have watching it from field level. I'm not that sharp in order to be able to sit here and break down. Oh, well, I thought they shaded the boundary safety this way, and that I think I could do a better job of that, watching the tape. I'm not great at it by any stretch of the imagination. I just did. I kind of taught myself a lot the COVID year because we weren't allowed to go to Camp Higher Ground, but I might have been able to watch some videos to get a feel for how that team was looking while they were at Higher Ground. I got better at it then. I'm still not there. Ryan would be if we can get Ryan to come to the scrimmage on Sunday or Saturday, we'll have him break down what he sees schematically. It's
what
hard
time
from the
is it?
field though, bro, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you off stream. I don't think they want that really out there, but I'll tell you off stream.
Okay. No, even for me, I'd want to be up in the freaking booth.
Yeah. It's just so hard to really see what's happening. There's so many things to watch when you're on the field that kind of zooming out and trying to watch like the whole picture is
Exactly.
very difficult. It's very difficult.
Let's stay with defense. He'll be
I mean,
back. He'll be back. I
Did
saw him
Brennick
pop
just
out.
cut the cord?
Hey man, I saw him pop out. I said, I'm in. Sub me back in. And Royer, get ready to pepper some questions. But I know that riffing with Royer is coming up very, very soon. So I know Ryan's ready to riff it up, baby. Anyway, Chad. Sticking with defense, linebacker, Dingle, obviously, in his after practice interview, mentioned his move to outside backer. You see Bartlett now filling in at the middle. Is that a set in stone thing, or and by the way, Bartlett goes by the Wolf. I thought was a pretty interesting thing to add in there as well. And
Did you like my follow-up question?
Yeah, I did actually. Can you self-ordain yourself as with a nickname like Sauce?
And that's the right answer. It depends on how much of a badass you are.
right.
If you're a badass, you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. If you're not like Sauce wasn't a badass yet when he got here. So Luke was like, I'm not calling you Sauce until you make me call you Sauce.
Until you get a pick 6 against UCF and follow it up with a pick 6 at ECU. Yeah, you are Sauce.
If you look at Jared Bartlett with his shirt off, he can call himself whatever he wants.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Chiseled man right there. And then one last thing about the linebacking room is Jake Galday really as amazing as all of these, interviews and mentions truly lay him out to be, because he's getting a lot of pub. And is he kind of slide in more at that middle backer, or would he be
I think he's
outside?
Outside.
Okay.
Like, you want speed sideline to sideline in this league. Just with a lot of the run game and kind of the faux run game where they're trying to get it out into the flat, they're trying to get it out quick. Your linebackers need to be able to hum sideline to sideline. He is fast. He's fast.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think he was in that 22-mile-an-hour group.
Yeah.
For a linebacker.
Dingle said he was faster than he was.
And that's a lot for Dingle to admit. Like, Dingle's fast. Yes. So he has all of the traits. Let's get through a couple more days of camp and see if he can stack some days making some hits now that things will be. Ryan, I think the night practice, get after it. Like, turn them loose.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like a lot more one-on-ones. Like, they're like keeping track of who's winning what in like position drills, and then it's go time
tomorrow night.
It's team. What time?
7.
I'll let you know. See when I get out of work, but I am intrigued because that's when the boys start flying around.
Right. Oh. And imagine the rock star love you would get from the 7 people on the roster that know who you are.
Well, Nico will give him his deserving.
You might just like, you better get a water bottle and you can just walk around with Nico and then report back here on Monday and tell us what happened.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
7 o'clock if you can get out there.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll try my best.
I mean, you're staff, so like you're a former player, so you can show up whenever you want, but you're also staff, so
That's true. We got double credentials here.
Yeah. You get the former player. Like, did you know, Ryan, in Major League Baseball, once you pass a certain
I think 10
appearances or tenure, you get a little gold coin that gets you into every Major League Baseball game for free.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I was doing a show with a guy named Joe Price that used to pitch for the Reds in the 80s. And after we would do the show, we would do like a pregame show. And then every time the show would end, and he'd be like, all right, I'm headed to the game. And I was like, do you have season tickets? And he's like, no. Fucking, I got the pass. Like, I'm good. I'm chilling. Like, damn.
I need that for the Bearcat games.
You do. I mean, we can probably say. You were Mr. Bearcat. Like, Mr. Bearcat should.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you
get
get a coin?
you should
Yeah,
get a
you
lifetime
should
pass.
definitely get a
You really
coin
should.
for being
Yeah.
Mr. Bearcat. You should
I'll be back in
absolutely
1
get a
minute.
coin.
Did they give you a pin at least?
They gave me a plaque,
Oh, a little plaque.
little
A little
plaque,
harder to carry that
little
around.
thing. Yeah,
Pull it out of your
Little-
wallet.
yeah.
One sec.
Like a magician.
That would be
Then they'll
fun.
really let me in.
No, you should wear a top hat everywhere you go.
Like, what else you got in there?
1 second.
You'll
One
never
second.
know.
Aaron, pepper away, baby.
Well,
Are you
he said
okay?
He's going to be. Yeah, we're good. He said he was going to be back in a minute, so I don't
Oh,
gotta
okay.
wait for. Can't really.
Royer, are you revving up your riffing skills tonight? I'm excited for you.
Oh, yeah.
And also,
we're doing it.
there is a very strong mailbag too, so we're gonna be able to rock and roll this. But yeah, Aaron, kind of what's been your overview? Just talking with Chad, a couple of nightcaps. Just it does seem like this team is kind of taking on a whole new identity. I mean, you saw Gavin Gerhardt talk about how the offensive line all mentions they're going to be Joe Moore Award winners as the best offensive line in the country, and I mean, I think if they prove their worth, I think they have a decent chance to be at least in the conversation because that's a group award, obviously. I don't know. It seems like the confidence is extremely high for the team, and it seems like all reports, obviously, everything's kind of sunshines and roses for the early stages, but it does seem like there's a different vibe going into coverage this year.
It's the vibe, Brent. That's what I was gonna say. It's not it's like the vibe is different.
Well,
a lot different.
I'd be more concerned if there wasn't a vibe difference, right? Like after last season, my goodness.
Sure.
But I'm not trying to get out over my skis on it because we saw what happened last season.
That's my job, Aaron. That's my job.
You can be all the good vibes you want until that first loss, and then that second loss, and then that third loss, and then now what are you doing with, it gets to that point. What are you doing after you've got a couple of those losses under your belt? Now that you've had adversity, how are you responding to that adversity? So I don't think it's any secret that I don't know that any of us believe this team's going undefeated. So I think they're going to take some lumps, and it's going to be how they respond to those lumps. So I don't know, but now that Chad's back, I guess I'm two of the position groups that I'm concerned with. There's been an awful lot of talk from Brad Glenn in several interviews at this point, I guess, in regards to the backup running back being a super important position. And so I guess I'm, just wondering how anybody not named Corey Kiner has been looking in that regard. I know you just put pads on today, so who's to say what running back looks like? And I don't know that anybody's out there trying to really thump on a running back necessarily, especially in first day of pads on. But
it's still a work in progress. I have been really impressed with Chance Williams. That's not to take anything away from Evan Pryor because he's been pretty good too. But I think Williams, the reason he kind of jumps out to me is because he's a different guy. He's a little bit more speed. He's a little bit more like third down gadget, use him in a bunch of different ways type of guy where Evan Pryor he's probably a little faster than Corey, but they're both more traditional running backs, if that makes sense. Where Williams is a little bit more shifty, a little bit more swing pass, the angle routes and trying to get the running back the ball kind of in space. I think that's a little bit more of his game, where Pryor tends to be, I see him as more of that, true actual number 2 back behind Kiner, if that makes sense. But I think Pryor's been solid. He had a nice catch out of the backfield today. Hopefully here, usually once we get going, you start seeing a little earlier in practice, like run fit, where they'll run 11 on 11 with the main guys on both sides. working specifically on the run game. So, I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more of that as we get going. That's the other thing too, that I think it's until you're really out there like doing these every day. Like, okay, so they started the run segment today, but it's like 1 5 or 7 minute period. So, you get a look at it, but by day 3 or 4, you've seen it 3 or 4 different times, and now you have a better like grasp of what it looks like. So, I like what I've seen from both of those guys. I do think Williams, it just gives them a little different dynamic that they didn't have last year. But I think Pryor is going to be a more than suitable backup for Corey, where they're both going to, touch the ball a decent amount.
And then the other spot that I have just questions on, I guess, is I feel like we've talked more about safety and that star position than we have cornerback, and kind of wanting to know. We know what we had last year was not good enough. That's no secret. But we just wanting to know, I guess, how they're looking overall. Not trying to just tear anybody down or anything like that, and going back into last season, but just kind of wondering where we're at now.
So I mean, the reality is you basically have 3 veterans there, right? Or guys that have played a good amount. Not here necessarily, but a good amount. Jordan Young, Armani Arnold, and Kalen Carroll are kind of your veterans. The scary part, there's a lot of talent, okay? It's a lot of talent, but a lot of these guys are young.
Yeah.
Gravy Johnson, Daniel James, Willie Goodwin. There's a lot of guys that Quentin Price that don't have a lot of experience that are hanging out behind your top 3 guys. Now, I guess one of the good things I guess you can consider is now the extra DB is a safety instead of a corner. So you're just relying on 2 outside corners. So maybe your depth isn't as much of a challenge to have those numbers that it has been in the past. But Armani Arnold's been really, really good so far.
Yeah.
Jordan Young has been solid. Like, I don't think I have a single note on Jordan Young that's like he got beat. Like,
right.
Somebody got on that play. That's not to say it hasn't happened. It's just it hasn't been something that I've, caught or been watching when it happened.
Fair to say that it's not been as egregious as it was last season?
Correct. Last year was bad. And again, I do think some of that was also you couldn't have a safety get over to help to make your,
right.
The corner makes a bad play. The safety comes over and saves it. Nobody shits on the corner because the play didn't happen. Last year, the corners were bad and the safeties were bad. And everybody was running free to the end zone on a regular basis. So those 3 main guys, Young, Arnold, and Carroll, are going to be counted on heavily here to try to get the young guys up to speed, because behind them, they are young, really, really young, really talented, really, really young.
Do they have Jordan Robinson at cornerback as well, or is he kind of?
Yeah, they do. They do, but he hasn't played a lot. He's not a guy that saw the field much in his time at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
He played a little and played some special teams, but
right.
That's not a guy. He's not a freshman. Obviously, he's gone through college practices, but yeah, he would be 4th in that group, I guess. He made some plays early at Nippert. I didn't jot him down for anything today, which, I mean, sometimes that can be a good thing, because they didn't get beat. It didn't look bad, but yeah, he would be the 4th quote unquote older guy, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of tread on the tires either.
Yeah. And his length just obviously intrigues me. That 6'4"
Yeah.
long. So, yeah. Aaron, anything else on defense? We flipping over to offense questions, or we just asked running back too.
I asked the questions that were at the top of my list.
Cool. Roy, are any questions here? Are you saving for Riffing?
I got my Riffins in the bank, so
Gosh dang. That makes me excited. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Chad, thank you for that. And night practice tomorrow, so it's going to be a little fired up. I'm going to have more coverage on that as well. But yeah, and of course, next BBP, we're going to dive into it even more. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Any other thing that you think you might have not touched on, Chad, or I think we kind of pretty much.
No, I don't know that there's anything left that we could hit on.
Well, how about Samage Jones? Does he look as impressive as the word on the street is about him?
So he and Pete, Pete Thomas said athletically, he's one of the most physically gifted kids he's seen. And that's accurate. Like, he can run, he's got a rocket for an arm.
Mm-hmm.
But he still needs to work on. He is one of those guys that he's got to develop a changeup.
Right.
Like, the ball comes in hot.
He's got that velocity, but yeah.
He's going to have to work on a little finesse. Okay. And I mean, he's a freshman. Like, he's got a lot to learn. But boy, when he gets set in the pocket and he has the read and he knows where he's going.
Yep.
It looks really good. So there's a lot of tools to work with, but it's early in the process for him still. But guess what? I like when it's early in the process and a guy is making some
already
plays.
Yeah. Oh,
so
freshman, man. How about that? All right, cool. Let's timestamp and then hit up my favorite segment.
All right, that is your Quick Paper Supply timestamp, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Now, and Royer's just he is just brewing over there. He's just,
he's bubbling.
Bubbling, getting more than ready. Maybe getting the popcorn popping, because you got to get your popcorn ready, because it's time for the Riffing with Royer. And yeah, this is where I do my little leeway into Chad. Go away.
I'm ready. Fiercely independent and unabashedly innovative, New Riff produces award-winning bourbon, rye whiskey, and gin at their distillery in Newport, Kentucky. The Aquafire Tasting Room, located on the third floor of the distillery, features cocktails, flights, and pours of New Riff's entire line of spirits, including rare, limited edition, and distillery exclusive releases. Bearcat Journal listeners can save 50% on distillery tours when you use the code Bearcats24. For more information or to book a tour, visit newriffdistilling.com.
Hey.
Well, Ryan?
Boom. All right. So first question, I'm kind of wondering how do you feel like the defense is responding to the new defensive playbook and our new defensive coordinator? Do you think they're easing into it? Do you feel like they're ahead of schedule, still a little behind schedule? How do you
I would say
grade?
So far so good. I mean, yeah. I think things look organized. I guess, is that a good way to say it? Like, it doesn't look like guys are like, constantly looking to the sidelines or constantly checking with their teammates, like trying to figure out what they need to do. So I think, that's a good sign early that this group is kind of picking up on things pretty quickly. I've only seen one super angry Tyson Veit moment. He got a little hot on Friday, but
Gotta
can you do?
get like that every once in a while. It's good for the boys.
Right. And oh boy, you should have seen Dave. I haven't seen Dave that excited in a long time than when Tyson Vite was just losing his mind for about 4 minutes. Dave was about to jump out of his skin. He was so happy. So yeah, I mean things look pretty fluid so far. I mean, like I said, I've only really
Guys
seen
are
the one.
communicating well on the field. Not a lot of.
It looks like it. I mean, again, that's something that you're a lot.
Yeah.
You can ascertain that a lot easier than I can. But I've only really noticed like the one broken coverage today that got Royer open. Your brother, Joe.
There it is.
I'm not recognizing a lot of like, okay, there's a guy that just is running free that shouldn't be. Everybody, even if a guy makes a play, everybody seems to be accounted for, I guess is a good way to put it. Like, guys just aren't willy-nilly, what the hell happened? Who didn't take that guy?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So I like what I've seen so far on that front. Again, it's early.
Chad, would you say it kind of seemed like in the press conference and just what we've heard about Tyson Vite is the fact that it kind of seems like the head coach of the defense, if you will. And I know that's what the defense coordinator is, but it feels like he's got a lot of head coach quality to him.
Yeah. I don't know. He's kind of quiet. Like he's quiet, but he's not. So right. I guess that's maybe what you're seeing from that.
It just like seemed like he's got that kind of like understanding of how maybe it's just how he does press conferences, but it just feels like he's a little bit more of like a takes
he's
the approach
reserved,
but
he's articulate. I guess is a good way to put it. Like he likes talking football, so if you ask him football questions, he is engaging because that's basically like the only language he speaks is football.
Yeah. I don't know how much you can devolve into this, just my own curiosity. By adding that extra safety, have they been using that opportunity to go a lot more zone
so
coverage?
Far it seems that way. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of like straight man. It does seem like and that's part of why you put that third safety out there is you make the quarterback wonder what is this guy doing? Like, now I've got another guy with like length and can really move and whatever kind of looming back there. So I think so far, that's what I've seen. I think I think there probably are some man principles and some blitz principles that will make things a little bit different, but in the base it does feel like there's quite a bit of zone in there.
Because the way we utilized it was it would kind of let us free up like one or two of our linebackers to kind of be able to manipulate different stunts and different rushes, or like being able to help, like the sniper can help the free safety, or the will linebacker could help the boundary safety underneath and stuff like that. And then the mic is essentially just like, all right, you're watching the running back and whatever you can add into the fit whenever you want. So, I mean, it does like but that's when we had like two great cornerbacks where we're like, we're just going to go man, and we're going to use these extra bodies to our advantage.
You also had a guy that eliminated 30% of the field.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Which made, and then we had a really good D line, so they were like, we only need 3 of them. So we obviously lived in fantasy land a little bit, but I was just kind of curious if they were trying to man up on the edges and then kind of do a little do some help drops underneath with your extra backer or your extra safety. So I guess that's something I could just keep an eye on. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's early and they just put the pads on, so. 1-on-1 and 7-on-7, you're not going to be really working on the same things that you're working on in team.
Do they do 8-on-7?
I haven't paid attention to that yet, but Luke loved
They
8 on
probably
7.
should. Yeah, it was so
Luke loved
funny.
8 on. Well, you would what? 2 corners? Yeah, 8 is the number, right?
Yeah,
Why would you take one of your guys out? And
a
it
lot of the
probably has been
times.
8 that I just didn't think of it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like you got 2 corners, 3 safeties, and 3 linebackers. That's your defense.
Yeah,
So
but
why
with
would
us,
you take one of them off the field?
a lot of we'd have a lot of sets where the Mike was or Will was just they were automatically rushing. So we would just like take a knee on the line of scrimmage.
They'll run to the quarterback and then veer off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm guessing they do. I didn't count it, Ryan, but you're probably right. They probably did.
Yeah.
Are doing 8 on 7.
Like Joel and 7 on 7 would essentially just be a freaking spy, like mini hot drop where he's literally just like 45 degrees shuffling to the left and right, like wherever the quarterback's looking, just trying to like undercut something. It's just like cheap shit like that.
Well, what worked out against Houston?
Yeah, it did. All those dumbass reps at higher ground when you're like, why are we doing this? Joel DeBlanco.
Bang, baby.
Okay, my next one is, how is Sorsby's command of the offense? Do you feel like he's stepped in and you're like, all right, this is the guy, and you just feel like confident, you feel comfortable?
Yeah,
like
I mean he hasn't. Control? I thought he was off a little bit on Friday. He didn't have his best day, but it's a long process. Like guys have good days or bad days. And then I thought the receivers were a little off today. But in terms of like, I mean, the one thing that stood out to me, Ryan, was that the first 7 on 7 that they did, he completed a pass to each of his 5 main guys in 5 plays. So I'm going to get it to X. I'm going to get it to Tony Johnson. I'm going to get it to Tyron Smith. All right, here's Royer. All right, let's get it out to Kiner. Like, I don't know if it was planned that way, but it was something that's how it played out. And it was noticeable that this is kind of the way that the offense is supposed to hum, where we'll move it outside, we'll move it inside, we'll hit over the middle, we'll test you down the field.
That's good.
So that was something that jumped out at me immediately, as he is doing a really good job. That's like when Emory got into his head, he saw Xavier Henderson and then a check down and then he was gone. Like, if you're going to have an effective offense in this league, and let's face it, you're going to have one of the best running games in the country, the quarterback's got to be able to take advantage of, okay, I got a mismatch here. Okay, I've got, they're playing press coverage on the outside and they're giving our slot guy 10 yards of space. Let's find a way to pick it apart. And he seems to be on schedule for that in terms of how the offense is running.
Would you say he's like the way the offense responds to him? Like, do you feel like he kind of has like a grip on like what like being a traditional like quarterback is? Like the guys, like he's got good leadership. The guys are kind of like rallying around him. They respect him. They listen to him. They kind of coach each other up hard. They have that mutual respect. Or would you say he's kind of like still Mr. New Guy who's really good, so guys kind of just respect him because of that, if that kind of makes sense?
The vibe I've gotten from the team is that he has come in and pretty easily become like one of the guys.
Okay.
Like he has a big desire to win, big personality, but he's not like too cool for school, I guess. I know that's a very dated phrase, but like
I still use it. Hey, I use it daily, probably.
Of course you do, Brent.
You didn't help my argument at all, Brent. You didn't help my argument at all. But my point being, like, he seems to fit in. He does not seem to be. Some quarterbacks are, they'll isolate themselves, or they'll have their small group of guys that they connect with or whatever. he seems to be a guy that isn't afraid to hang
like,
out with the commoners, if you will.
So my I guess a good comparison would be like a Desmond Ritter versus a Hayden Moore. Like both really talented. Like Hayden, was neck and neck with Dez. Like especially Dez had a better running game, leadership quality, just had like that command of the team. Whereas like Hayden was just had plenty of skill, but he just was kind of like he a little more like floated
Hayden was
around
a little quiet.
more. Yeah, he was quieter. Still a great player, and
that's
a lot of people
away
thought,
from him.
yeah, a lot of people thought like the way Dez kind of initially grabbed like a hold of his spot was just because like Dez was just felt more vocally and more leadership wise involved with the team.
Yeah.
That he was younger doing that. And so like I'm kind of like that was what I was trying to wonder about Sorsby. Is he more of like a Hayden Moore type or more of a Desmond Ritter type? Because we obviously know he's got the talent, he's got the skills, but from what you've been seeing from him at camp, what side of that spectrum do you think he kind of falls into?
I would say it leans more towards Dez, although I would say like the difficult part there is Dez was such a unique figure from a leadership perspective. Like even when he was young and he wasn't in a leadership position, people still like were drawn to Dez at a very young age. Like I remember getting reports from guys that were on that first team of Luke's that like he's not good enough yet, but like we believe in him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is about this guy, but like he's got something that's a little different. And I think, Dez as a Pied Piper had a lot of guys marching behind him before he ever even took a snap. I do think it's one of the reasons you guys won that game in the Rose Bowl.
UCLA, yeah.
Was because when Dez came in and like stayed in, and the plan was 2 series for Hayden, 2 series for Dez, and then go from there, which I think everybody assumed was like, okay, Hayden comes back in after Dez's first 2 series, and that never happened. And I think everybody was kind of like, oh, we got our guy. Like, we found our dude that's going to take us. So I don't know that I'm ready to say Sorsby is quite at Pied Piper level yet. But it's also different because he was brought in expected to be the starter. Dez early, in his redshirt year, I mean, he was a 2-star. The only other offer he had was Eastern Kentucky. So, I mean, it was different, but I like everything I'm hearing from the guys when we've talked about Sorsby.
Yeah, and I forget which interview it was after one of the practices, Chad, but one of the players were like, yeah, I just talk to Sorsby every once in a while after practice. We're kind of both new, just trying to figure out things out, and it's not like it was a wide receiver or a tight end or someone that he was talking to.
I think it was
mainly Jalen Hunt? Yeah, I think it was Jalen Hunt. Yeah. So like that's just a sign of someone that's branching out and trying to become the leader of the team, not just the leader of his position group and offensive room. So that's a leadership sign as well. Royer, you're doing great, man. Freaking fire away, baby. Let's riff.
Those are my 2 questions.
Okay.
I feel like we kind of I could have piggybacked off of some of those things we talked about earlier, but
Ryan,
what's up?
Can you do 3? Because Brent gets really disappointed when you only have 2. Like, well, I think you ruined his day when he sets you up for the 3rd one, and you're like, I don't.
Well, it's because
have a 3rd one.
My 3rd one was the corners, kind of how they've been looking. But Aaron, you guys kind of already. No, it's fine. Yeah, it's hard. we were kind of doing like a riffing with everyone. So I was assuming that one of mine was going to get
Gobbled
hijacked.
up.
Well,
Yeah.
Ryan, you
Ryan,
forgot.
what was your favorite meal at Camp Higher Ground?
Oh, all right. I
Steak
loved
night, Indiana
the
fried chicken
steak.
night.
I loved the Monterey, what are they called? The ones you were just talking about today. I love those. That's my favorite lunch.
Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich.
Dinner was the steak night with the popcorn shrimp, dude, or the coconut shrimp, whatever those are. Oh my God. And then the dessert has to be the cinnamon, whatever the hell that thing is, cinnamon ice cream with the apple butter on underneath the little thing.
So here's what people don't know.
Yeah.
When
That thing
we're
sounds
there
good.
in the afternoon, the desserts are like snacks, like the Bearcat bar, the little like chocolate cookie brownie thing. At night, they have a damn dessert table that has like 12 different homemade desserts. So the nighttime experience for dessert is so different than like the lunch. Like you just grab something and put it on your plate.
Don't they have like the shake table too, where you can go get a shake of whatever?
Torturing the strength interns.
Yeah.
Make me a milkshake. 9 o'clock at night.
Hey.
And then we didn't even get to that.
There's not enough cookies in this. Make me a new one.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then at the end of the day at 9-10 o'clock at night, they have snack, which
chicken wings.
Yeah,
chicken
200 pounds
pizza.
of chicken wings.
Oh, dude, it's so good. I was literally just about to bring up the pizza and wings. They have like these little pizzas, probably like this big, with the wings, and just like they use the bacon ranch that they have for the
Monterey Ranch chicken sandwiches.
Oh my God, yeah, and you're just like, then you go
you dip the pizza in the bacon ranch.
Yeah, with the wings, dude, it's nuts.
Oh,
then you get some garden salsa sun chips on the side.
Sounds so good.
Play some euchre, and you look at your phone, and it's with Higgins and Foligno.
See, Brian tries to act like he doesn't ever want to go back to Higher Ground, but he misses Higher Ground. You can hear it that he misses
Higher Ground.
Very obvious.
I'm just saying, you cut me off right in my part where you look at your phone, it's 9:45, and then reality hits. Like, I'm about to walk into my room, shower, and
that 30 minutes of fun was outstanding.
Yeah, then you wake up the next morning, and you're like,
then Mitch is at your door at 6:15 with the air horn.
Yep.
Hate him. But Chad,
hell on earth.
Ryan's being coy because he texted me over the weekend. He said, "Hey man, pretty crazy seeing Connor Hickman win, the Monster of the Summer." And I said, "Yeah, that's crazy, man." And then he also mentioned how Mike Rayfelt then offered maybe having a fantasy camp for adults over the summer one time, and then he said one of my riffing questions is going to be, guys, would you sign up for the fantasy camp, and what do you think of Mike Rayfelt fantasy camp Monster Factory would look like?
What is that?
Can I
what
go
is a
from
fantasy camp?
Can I go from looking like Aziz last season to Aziz right now? Because my goodness, who is that dude?
I'm probably not. Although Mike, I would be much more ready for a Mike Rayfelt experience than like a Brady Collins or Nico experience. Okay. Like I think Mike's would be cerebral and like detail, like where I think Brady or Nico might try to like hurt somebody. Let's make him puke.
I've watched you interact with all three of these men, and I feel like Mike genuinely likes you, which may be the difference between Brady.
You don't think Nico genuinely likes me?
I think he does, but I think Rayfelt would hug you.
Try not to kill me.
Nico would also hug you, so maybe it's not apples to apples, but it's different. Watching you interact with Rayfelt is different than
that's fair.
Nico and
I'm not going to deny that. That is absolutely fair. Absolutely fair.
Yeah. See, Roy, that was a great question.
Thanks, Brent.
No doubt, man. would you do it with me though, Roy?
What is it? Where you just go and you freaking work out with the
Yeah, where the strength coach trains you like a fantasy camp. But
because he always posts like the team picture and they're all jacked and just
hell yeah, I do that. I'd love to go get a little pump in.
Let's go, baby. I think we could all do it. We could all do it. Just real quick, just to wrap it all up as well. Dan Skillings, he splashed a couple of deep threes at Kings Island last week. That was
he did.
Maybe he's been working on a shot. And then of course, Dan Skillings posted on his Insta story later on in the week, and it was I think 6 straight made threes by Dylan Mitchell. So hey. That's.
I've also seen Dylan Mitchell miss 6 straight threes. So
we don't mention that in the land of sunshine and rain.
let's stay grounded.
Yes,
on a guy that's made as many. You know how many 3-pointers Dylan Mitchell has made in his college career? As many as Ryan Royer.
Wow, goose egg.
So, look, maybe
it all changed this year.
And hopefully I am wrong.
Comeback of a lifetime. I'm getting on the roster.
Well, here's the thing with the Dylan Mitchell 3-point thing. It is a bonus. If he hits 3, it's a massive bonus. Like, I am not – there are guys that can shoot on this team. There are guys with a multitude of talents. Dylan Mitchell is a guy that has a bunch of significant, impactful talents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not counting on shooting 3-pointers to be one of them this year.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
They counted on Vic to make a bunch of threes last year. How did that go?
I mean, even Aziz splashed a 3 last year. So let's just
right. So
keep that in mind.
Let's you don't have to ride the break, but let's pump it a little bit.
So did Jamil.
Jamil could actually shoot the 3.
And Odie, too. Remember when Odie splashed that 3? I was like, hold up. Hold up now. But yeah.
Hold up. Wait.
And also shouts to Tyler Scott graduating, friend of the show, friend of the program, friend of the BCJ. Tyler Scott's a man. He's just
beast.
Keegan got yelled at.
100% of the Bearcats in the NFL are graduated.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Big shots.
22 Bearcats are in the NFL. All of them have their undergraduate degree. Look,
correct.
There's no better human than Tyler Scott. Like, Tyler Scott goes right up there with Gary Clark and Trey Scott in my pantheon of Garrett Campbell. It's a pretty lengthy, probably out to about 10. But Tyler Scott is a one of one, like just an awesome, awesome dude. I had to get Kelsey
stamped.
I had to get Kelsey back to for volleyball that day, Friday. I wanted to hang around and chat with him, but practice ended a little late. I had to get rolling, and he's asked Keegan. He's like, "Where's Chet?" And I'm like, "There." Should have stopped up and said hello before we left, but Tyler's the best, the absolute best. He had the plaid collar, like how that dude is going to make the coolest grandpa. Forget the dad part.
Yeah.
Forget the dad part. When he gets older and he's a grandpa, that grandkid is going to be the luckiest grandkid on earth.
Already a grandpa
because he's been practicing it for 3+ decades.
Right.
Yeah.
He's gonna have like a whole waterfall feature in his master bedroom, candles, books, aromatherapy,
and Werther's caramel.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah. and that's when he's
Are you just
36.
imagining the most epic unk of all time?
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be the most epic unk of all time. But even when he gets past that, when he's a grandpa, that grandkid is gonna be the luckiest grandkid on the planet.
That's right.
Get some of that NFL money. be spoiled to shit, man.
Yeah.
He'll be on Hard Knocks.
And Tyler Scott has not spent a damn dime of his NFL money.
Oh no, I saw him. He took his wife out to the movies. He's doing something with it. He's got taking the wife out.
Hey,
on
movies are not cheap these days, man.
No, and they got ices, man. They probably spent $100 there.
Easy.
Probably did. You probably did.
Probably paid extra for. Hey, sweetie, you want that middle seat? I'll buy the other four around us. Make sure no one else sits by us. We'll be good.
He actually bought my ticket so I didn't have to sit next to him. He's like, "Yeah, Roy, I bought this one. You know, I don't want you getting too close to me and bothering me during this movie with the sock or something."
Yeah.
The sock. I would love to have had Tyler Scott's reaction on camera when you were running around the locker room with a sock on your junk.
We'd have to ask Alec. I don't remember. I wasn't taking too many notes of people.
Both of them just rolled their eyes at you like, this fucking guy.
Alec was giggling like a little kid, man.
Alec's like, I have to do engineering. I have to get him an A in engineering.
You had to walk home with me after.
Did you put clothes on or did you walk home in a sock?
Oh, no. Sock all the way down Jefferson Ave.
Smart move. Riding on a bird scooter.
Yeah, I mean, they'd see it coming, man. They're probably, what the hell is that guy doing? It wouldn't.
Are there Red Hot Chili Peppers in town?
They'd see you coming.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, okay. That is Riffing with Royer. Fantastic. It's awesome.
Goodness.
All white uniform, icy whites for
week one. Hate that. Need to get my opinion out. Hate that shit. All whites at Nippert, man, that just doesn't work for me.
At least it's
because of the temperature. Like
it's against FCS Midwest too. So
yeah.
I mean,
no, FCS Central East.
Well, it's Towson. Let's just give them their props before they get some
FCS New England
unneeded bulletin board
Baltimore.
material.
FCS DMV. That's what we decided on.
Yeah.
FCS DMV.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, let's timestamp it. We got a good mailbox coming up. Mailbag.
All right, that is your Quick Paper Supply timestamp. Your locally and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
All right. Open up that mailbag.
Let's go.
So starting off in the football portion of the mailbag, as we always do. Let's hear some way too early hot takes. Projected starting defense. How many freshmen will be in the two deep? How are we going to pressure the quarterback? How did the late enrollee freshmen look, particularly on defense?
Projected started defense. I'm still not positive at linebacker. I think they're down to like five options. Bartlett, Dingle, Golday, Jonathan Thompson, Simeon Coleman. I feel like I'm missing one.
Sims.
Yeah, Sims. I think that's Sims, Thompson, Coleman, Dingle, and then maybe we'll see on Monte Whedon. I mean, 6'1", 218, like good size for a freshman. So one of those top five guys, I think, will be your three starters at linebacker. At safety, I think it's going to be Josh Minkins, Micah Coleman, Derek Canteen. Jordan Young at one corner, Armani Arnold at the other, Dante in the middle whenever he comes back, Jalen Hunt when he's not, Eric Phillips, Darian Varner. We'll see. Like a defensive end, I need to see more camp. I need to see more of this play out. Marquez Parker.
Yeah. Chad, Hunt mentioned playing not at like the end, but is there a chance that he would be on the field with Dante as well, or is that kind of a?
I think maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I think he would, if you put both of them on the field
at nose, yeah.
Somebody's going to get isolated and they're going to try to get you in space.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't think that's a great idea. Maybe it happens, or maybe there's sub packages where they just decide like these are two of our best guys. We need both of them on the field.
Yeah.
Where they go to like a 4-2-5, because you can still play three safeties in a 4-2-5.
Mm-hmm.
You just have one less linebacker and one more defensive lineman. So, we'll see. I mean, let's get Dante back like really on the field first before we start talking about what it looks like when Dante's back.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've talked about the freshman on the 2 deep. I think when all's said and done, I think I've got 5 that will see the 2 deep at some point this season. And then there's a bunch of DBs that maybe. Sanks, Gravy, Parker, Grover, and Simeon Coleman. I think those 5 freshmen find their way somewhere near the 2 deep. Grover might be a little tough just because there's 3 older guys ahead of him, but I think you're going to see Gavin Grover. I don't think he'll redshirt if that I don't think he'll play 4 games and that'll be it, unless they decide they just have to preserve his year of eligibility. But I think those 5 guys will play. How are we going to pressure the QB? That's a great fucking question. I don't know yet. When I have that answer, we will sit here and talk about it. I don't know yet. The late enrollee freshman, I mean, it's so early, man. Like we're mentioning the names that are popping up, but those dudes they're 4 or 5 months behind everybody else. So there you go. Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Can't hear you, Aaron. You muted?
I did. There's a lot happening upstairs. So, how did running back from Ohio State Evan Pryor look?
We talked about it, a decent amount earlier. I think he looks solid. He looks like he's going to be a very capable, Robin to Corey Kiner's Batman. A little bit more explosive, but maybe not as much power. So, I more
or less read the question because somebody said running back from Ohio State Evan Pryor, which I thought was hilarious because Jerome Ford was always running back from
the Alabama transfer, Jerome Ford.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually. That UCF game where he just dominated, it was like Alabama running back Jerome Ford is outgaining the entire Golden Knight team.
Or Notre Dame wide receiver transfer.
Yeah.
We've heard them all. I'm curious to understand the impact of the House versus NCAA case. Will the new revenue sharing and scholarship increases in 2025 help, hurt, or not impact our ability to recruit relative to other power programs?
I have no idea, Otter. I am curious too. I've talked to a lot of coaches. A lot of coaches are wondering the same thing.
We've done our best to try and talk about the House versus NCAA case on the Nightcaps.
Yeah. But in terms of like directly, how will it help, hurt, or impact UC?
Wait and see.
I don't like the 105 scholarship limit because I think places like Ohio State and Michigan and Kentucky are going to load up even more on Ohio kids and stash them at the back of their roster. I think that dips into the pool of talent that's available to UC in the region. And when you look at like dipping into Georgia and dipping into Florida, SEC schools are going to be doing the same thing. The places with all the money aren't going to mind adding 20, 30 more 20 more scholarship players to their roster. It's not going to financially impact them all that much. And then you know what they will treat those kids like, Aaron? They will treat them like walk-ons. You are the guys at the back end of our roster. You are the scout team. If one or two of you
ever.
Yeah. But hey, Ryan, I'm sure you wouldn't have minded being treated like a walk-on while being on scholarship.
Yeah, like, aren't they just? I mean, especially in basketball, aren't they just theoretically just giving the walk-on scholarships in most cases? Because
Well, I mean, I think that's how most basketball coaches are going to handle that, Brent, just
Right.
because they
having
don't want
15
13 scholarship players.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, the one thing that it will probably allow you to do that you can't do now is to take like a long-term development guy and like tell the kid, like, look, you're going to have to work for a couple years.
So you'll actually recruit centers?
Some, maybe. I mean, that's I don't even know how to understand how big man recruiting is going to go, because the only chance you have that you're going to get a really good one is probably to recruit them.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to be with the understanding that, like, you're not going to play for a year or two.
Right.
And nobody wants to be told that anymore. So I don't know. There's so many different ways that this can go. Like, I know I was talking with a basketball assistant in a different Power 4 league, and they said, the thing that none of us know is what is our school going to do in terms of, it's going to be up to us. There's $22 million that's going to go in the revenue sharing pool. It's going to be up to each school how that revenue sharing is distributed. In the SEC, a lot of that money is going to go to football. What are the basketball teams going to get? Like, if you're a football school that has a relevant basketball program, Cincinnati, Kansas, Louisville, like, how much are you really going to be able to put aside for that? And then where does Title IX come into that? Because if the money has to be even or somewhere near scale, that's a lot of money that's going to women's sports that, guess what, the men's sports are going to want. So there's a lot to it that we are so early in this thing. It's hard to say specifically, and I also think it's what's a good way to put it? We don't know what NIL is going to be right now. I mean, dude, I put it on the board the other day. I'm hearing basketball budgets.
I saw that
up to $6 to $8 million. Some places as high as 10 per year.
I mean that's the
for their
crazy thing is,
basketball
like,
NIL budget.
that first splash, the first couple of years, it's like, okay, yes, everyone's all in. Certain boosters are all in, and certain people are probably all in. And then when it comes year 5, 6, 7, it's like, wait a minute, we got to give another 5 million, another, certain X amount. It just, at a certain point, it'll be interesting to see what exactly happens.
But what the schools
growing.
What the schools that are, Kentucky, Louisville, Indiana, Ohio State, which unfortunately are all schools in the region that UC is going to have to compete with. Now they are 3-4 years in of getting organized and really turning their NIL into a powerhouse because they have more high-profile boosters. So they've been able to better mobilize it the farther along that we've gone, and now they're swimming in NIL dollars, that's why high school recruiting is so interesting this year, because some of the numbers I've heard just for like top 30, top 40 guys, there's going to be a lot of places that have to make a decision. Like, are we going to spend this on a freshman?
Right.
Because other places, they got a lot to spend.
Mm-hmm. They do.
So
Especially like that when there's big years of turnover too. It's like, okay, are we gonna?
well, yeah, because then they mobilize the base. Like everybody's behind the new coach.
Yeah.
That's why Louisville's got a shit ton of money this year. Kentucky, Ohio State, Indiana's trying to quote unquote save their coach. So they've thrown a bunch of money at it. Like, the thing is, it's like last year, if you had like 3.5, 4 million, you were doing really well. And now if you got 3.5, 4 million, you're going to lose a lot of bidding wars.
Right.
Because they can just spend more than you.
College sports in the year 2024. Tell you what. Here we go.
Yeah. Buckle up, Buttercup.
All right. And what are your top 3 most interesting positional battles in Higher Ground?
You guys got anything? I've been talking a lot here, like this episode.
Yeah.
Let's get more from you guys.
I'll go with, hey, how about this? Top 3. Aaron, you give one, then Royer, you give one, and then I'll give one. So we have 3 total. Aaron, take it away.
I think linebacker is probably the most intriguing positional battle for me, just because you have a lot of talent there. I don't think it's going to be like who's going to emerge. I think it's going to be more like who's going to come out. Like, I think it's just going to be a slugfest, really. Like, I don't see there being a bad option at that position between whoever ends up winning the position. But you're also going to have plenty of depth at rotation at that spot too. So whoever starts game 1 won't necessarily be the same guy who starts game 4, who won't necessarily be the same guy who's starting at the end of the season. So I think there's going to be a lot of evolution to that position over the course of the season. And if linebacker goes the way that Tyson Vite's past has shown that he can develop a linebacker position,
right,
watch out.
Amen.
I'm going to go with who's going for the most playing time at the safeties between the 3. Kind of who really establishes themselves as like the first 3 in, and how long they can hold on to that before like some of the platoon guys come in and start trying to steal reps and steal playing time. So I think that'll be interesting to keep an eye on.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, who's going to be the leader of the safety room type thing? Is it, Miller? Is it going to be Derek Canteen type thing? But I'll go, I know, Chad, you've been saying Romani Arnold has had a couple, started out camp really strong. I guess who is going to just completely lock down that second cornerback spot? Is it Arnold that's going to take it all the way opposite Jordan Young? I think that's going to be a really important piece to the puzzle, obviously. And as of now, if it is Arnold and he continues progressing, then hopefully it'll be a pretty simple and easy position battle. But,
we have DJ Taylor in the mix there as well.
Right. That's right.
I like that we're all looking at defense though.
Yeah. I mean, the offense is pretty self-explanatory for the most part.
Wide receiver too. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I would say there is a legit battle for that. That I think we're just assuming that it's going to be Tony Johnson.
Yeah.
But I do think there's going to be a little bit of a battle there with the new guy, Jamoy Mays.
Okay.
Where he is starting to make some plays and starting to look a little bit more comfortable. So I think those 2 guys are going to battle for that number 2 field wide receiver spot. So I'll go with that one because I think it's just such an interesting and important position where if your field guy isn't a threat, then the safety help goes to the slot guy or the tight end. Like they're able to bottle up some of that stuff over the middle that you're trying to do. If you have 2 guys on the outside that are a threat, Alec Pearson, Tyler Scott, all of a sudden the middle is wide open for Josh Wiley and Trey Tucker and so we know Xavier Henderson's going to be good. Yeah. I think Tyron Smith and Aaron Turner and Barry Jackson, like,
have
you are stacked at the slot. We've talked about tight end.
Mhm.
Give me a really good number 2, or maybe it's both. Maybe those guys are interchangeable, and you can get to a point where you're comfortable using each for what their strengths are. And you go with more of a 1A, 1B type guy there.
Yeah.
But number 2 wide receiver is fascinating for me because I think if this offense is really gonna be good,
Have someone
I think
step up
I
opposite.
I think you have to have somebody that's on that other spot outside that's gonna be a threat and make a defense think.
Maybe everything clicks for Evan too, health wise and everything of that.
Yeah,
sort.
but I mean maybe he finds his spot at that number 2 spot. I think with his body type, he's probably more of a boundary. He's probably, him, Xavier Henderson, Buckhalter, and Evan on that field wide receiver spot. But Evan's got the speed and kind of quickness to be a threat there. It's just a matter of, again, stacking days for Evan.
Right.
How many days are you available that we can get you out there and get better? So
All
you
right.
got 4, Otter.
Dang.
Good question. How many months of your BCJ salary are you currently betting on them hitting the over in wins?
So to be
all the
clear
months.
here,
All the months.
the units are vastly different for each of us.
Yeah.
That
Me,
is definitely
0
correct.
months. 0 months. I'm willing to bet 0 months of BCJ salary on them hitting anything. You could
What is
set
the
it
line
at
again? Is it
0.5,
5.5?
and I
5.5.
5.5. Yeah.
I would do 5 months of
We-
pay.
We better start 4-0. I mean, there's come on.
That's what I'm saying. There's a
3
very
again,
realistic
3-1
chance we
is
could be
still-
6-0 to start the year.
And then you already hit the over. You've already
Yeah.
doubled your 5 months of Bearcat Journal salary.
But that includes beating UCF. It's a rivalry game. The new rivalry game.
In Orlando.
Yeah, which is
Isn't that
not
coming off a bye, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying we should win that game. I'm saying it's a game we can win.
Yeah.
And then is it Texas Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Houston, Texas Tech, UCF, Pitt, Miami, FCS, DMV.
House.
Yeah.
So
See how Tech is this year. I mean, UCF.
Aaron's the interesting one.
I made my bet
You got-
already, and it is
You
right
got
around
mouths to
1.
feed.
It is around 1% of my monthly income. So yeah, I'm good.
Damn, you make that much, dude? Holy moly.
Damn.
Congrats, bro.
Yeah, that's
Money bag.
Mailbag Magoo.
Oh boy.
That's the football portion of the mailbag.
All
Moving
right.
on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. Under Miller, there has typically been a weekend off-campus preseason trip, but would basketball programs benefit from an extended higher ground like off-campus camp setting for preseason? Why or why not?
I don't think so. I think the thing with football is there's so many guys. Like, it's much harder to wrangle 100 guys on campus than it is 15.
Yeah.
Like you can keep a pretty tight eye on 15 guys if necessary. Keeping a tight eye on 100 guys, that's no thanks. So I think you could do it. I think it works better the way that West does it. They have all of their, their build-up stuff, but then they do take a weekend. They go away somewhere. They have the team bonding portion of it. But I think you still with a smaller group, you can get that staying on campus or, being near the practice gym where you don't have to go away. Football, so many dudes, so many personalities, so many guys that, these are the older guys, and they want to go hang out with not their girlfriends, but their wives, as we've seen over the years. Like, I got 3 kids at home. Like, I'm going to go home if I have the chance to go home, where you kind of have to pull them away.
Yeah.
And then you have the younger guys that they're just now getting to college. Like, they just reported to college, right? Like,
Beast
you
mode.
You want to get them off campus ASAP for a couple weeks. So I don't see the benefit in basketball where in football the numbers make it
pure number game.
Very beneficial.
Yeah, they talk about the distractions. Well, you can eliminate distractions with 15 players a lot better than you can
right
with a full
100
football team.
I think we're on the same page there. You often talk about dudes on other teams UC is going up against. Who would you consider the dudes now on UC's football and men's basketball teams? Who have you seen that you think will eventually develop into a dude?
Thorsby, Kiner,
Dante.
Dante.
Kendra.
Yeah.
D'Artagnan Tinsley. Look, D'Artagnan Tinsley is going to get drafted next year.
NFL, man, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty confident of that. Like, that's your 2 guards are both going to play in the NFL.
After Royer's interview today, I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. He's got that little mojo about him. It's
Ryan's brother Joe.
Yeah.
Ryan's
brother Joe.
Brother
He's
Joe.
got
He is brother Joe now.
He's got the vibe.
So we avoid any confusion. Joe Royer is just brother Joe now.
There we go, brother Joe.
Mason Fletcher when he does the Conor McGregor walk.
Yeah.
Give him
Basketball, I think it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Jizzle, Dan,
Seamoss. It is wild. The dude
Dylan Mitchell
that are on this team.
Aziz.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more dudes than like we got Dave and Landers, and then we're gonna have to figure some shit out.
It's funny today on my time hop. Jarrett Hensley was playing overseas in the for USA men's that one summer, and like I had a couple clips of him, just making some basketball plays, and just 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. Now we have all these guys. It's crazy. Yeah, those are some dudes. Who's next? Man, maybe Bones, Kel Woodburn. I don't know. I think that just all the freshmen, just pick a freshman out of a hat.
Group. I really am excited about this.
Samage Jones. I mean,
Marquez Parker.
Yeah, pick a name.
I think he might start. Like, he's gonna have to have a good camp. Like, he's gonna have to be really good to do it. But there's nobody at defensive end that like looks or plays like him. Sorry, okay. Kelsey's had the door open, and now there's a giant moth that is buzzing around my head.
Dude, moths scare me so much, low key. Like, I hate
clean its guts off the wall, please. You're not a moth guy.
Hate bugs, man. I hate them.
Man, that's the worst thing about living all the way out in the middle of nowhere. The bugs are as big as my hand. All of them are all as big as my hand.
Brian, go watch some YouTube videos on honeybees. They're very interesting. Ants, very interesting.
What's
honeybees? Quick fact: the bees, like out in Asia, there's a specific honeybee that gets attacked by like these hornets, and what the bees do is they all signal to each other with like their butt, and they gang up on it. But what they do is they all just like land on it, and they like smother it, and they all vibrate to a certain temperature that the hornet will burn alive. But the bees no, they can't.
I'll pass. Yeah, I'll pass.
You gotta check it out, man.
Yeah, it's like when you got a little brother and you just tap him on the forehead. That like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
That's like a hardball ism right there. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh
Bend, don't break.
You know,
We
the whole,
vibrate. We vibrate till we're hot, but we're not dying. The enemy's
Oh,
dying.
and they pollinate like what 80% of the world's.
Let's keep going.
Whatever.
What else we got?
I hate bugs.
Moving on. That's when Aaron's supposed to come in.
Tyler Betsy going to be a dude who eventually becomes a dude.
Yeah.
I'll go Tyler McKinley. I was having a conversation about him with somebody inside the program that the thought was Tyler McKinley's going to win a lot of games. Like, he might not ever be your best player. He might be your best player. He might not ever be your best player, but he's going to be a guy that is on the floor for a lot of wins because of the way he plays the game.
You got Trey Scott vibes, but obviously different position.
Different, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right.
All right. If you got to map out the conference games only, game 1 through 20, how would you structure it?
That's like a full segment. That's not like a mailbag question.
Is he saying like where would you go?
Like, no, like how would you structure it, like 1 through 20 in terms of like
Where
road trips and
Oh.
like how the conference schedule plays out, I think.
Pick it out of a hat.
Man.
It doesn't matter. Everybody's so good, it doesn't matter. You're playing all 16 teams, playing 5 of them twice, playing 5, like it doesn't. I don't know. You're playing 5 of them home, 5 of them, like 15 teams, 15 opponents, 2 home and home, 5 on the road, 5 away. Like, just don't have any long road trips. But long road trips also mean long homestands. So I in this league, it doesn't. There's no right way to structure it. I guess you don't want what you'd rather not have like Kansas, Houston, and Iowa State or whatever back to back, where you got 3 top 10 teams in a week. I think you'd rather not have that.
You could also mention Arizona, Baylor. I mean,
right? Texas Tech, BYU,
Kansas State.
Yeah. Survive. Like, that's no matter what the conference schedule looks like.
It's so
the only goal is survive.
Yeah, just don't send us to play at Arizona and then on like a Wednesday night and then have to travel and play at UCF Saturday at noon. Just avoid that, and I'll be okay. But other than that, just it's a crapshoot. So,
all right,
this league's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Let's go to the lab. Design your perfect Bearcat basketball player, choosing one Bearcat alum or active player for each category. 1, height, athleticism. 2, shooting. 3, passing, playmaking.
Well, let's go one by one. Let's just go one by one.
Okay. Height, athleticism.
Kenya Martin.
Yeah. Can we use them in numerous times?
Sure. They didn't say we couldn't.
Okay, because DeMar, James White, Kenyon Martin. Take your pick.
All right.
Pick for me, Brent.
he just did. Take one of any one of those 3.
Yeah,
you're good.
Pick one of those 3, and he'll take the other 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I took Kenyon. He'll take DeMar. You get James White.
Boom.
Let's go.
Shooting.
Field Williams.
Man.
I'll take Darnell Burton.
No, you took Field. It's fine.
Okay, I got Field.
SK.
Give me well, I'll just take just give me Logan.
All right.
Or no, give me Durden. Lizelle Durden.
The gunslinger.
Ryan's gonna pass.
Well, that brings us to passing, playmaking.
Ooh.
All right, Nick the
That's
Quick.
a tough one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Or Oscar.
on the playmaking.
Oh,
or
I got
Oscar.
mine. Mine's
Yeah.
Day Thomas in the Big 12 tournament.
Okay, now.
when he went for 30. There we go.
Day Thomas versus West Virginia in the Big 12 tournament.
Very specific. David Thomas.
One of one. So one
Right
of
in the
one.
history books.
Yeah, passing, playmaking, Oscar Robertson. Because that includes scoring too.
Sure.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Driving, finishing, Jaron Cumberland.
Oh yeah, give me that freight train, baby.
I'll go freight train.
Gosh, that was nice.
Defense, you guys all know where I'm going. Rashad Bishop.
I'm gonna go back to the well. Kenyon
IMAC.
Martin.
Yeah.
From Kenyon.
I don't know how.
I think when I think defense, I think perimeter defense. I guess for some reason.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah,
IMAC and Rashad Bishop.
Rashad.
he could be standing under the hoop and still block someone taking a three.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not arguing with Kenyon. I'm just saying when I think of it, I think of like a wing defender. Like that's what I think of when I think of defense.
Okay.
You think of something different. That's fine. It's okay. And then intangibles, leadership.
Winningest Bearcat of all time, Steve Logan. But
I was gonna go mean face, Justin Jackson.
okay. Gary Clark.
Gary Clark, intangibles, leadership. Yeah.
Maybe I just have to fit him in somewhere. Tony Bobbitt. Just give me the arm sleeve. Give me the
Just intangibles. You're going intangibles.
the NBA socks, the headband.
Danny Fortson.
Yeah, Danny.
Yeah.
Gosh, I forgot about Danny.
Ruben,
and defense, Ruben. Yeah. Wow. The Kobe
Max Eel,
style.
because he's packing that
God.
vicious right hook.
defense, Pete Michael.
Yeah. I mean, Eric Hicks. I mean, come on. Oh,
A lot of options.
I hear Titus Rubles had some leadership that no one else could
Yeah.
touch.
Titus.
Don't make him mad. Do whatever keeps Titus happy. That was his leadership ability.
I'm liking all these. Good job, guys. Trip down memory lane. I do it every Monday.
There's one last question left. That brings us to the banks. This sounds like a particular type of bank, but who was your first?
I like
crush?
that.
Who was your first celebrity crush that helped you navigate those tender years of middle school / early high school? For me, it was Christina Applegate as Kelly Bundy on Married with Children. Who you got?
So mine was definitely Samantha Maselli.
I loved Megan Fox when I saw the Transformers movies.
Woohoo!
How old were you when that happened, Ryan?
Started to change me.
Yeah. Ryan, what age were you at during that first Transformers?
I don't remember.
Let me see.
I think I saw it that year.
It came out in 2007.
Because I feel like I'm in like the TGIF in my head. I'm in the TGIF
Middle school?
phase.
I'm trying to think.
Where it's like DJ Tanner or Topanga or...
Yeah. So for us, it was like Christina Applegate. It was Alyssa Milano, who was Samantha Maselli. And then obviously Kelly Kapowski.
So
Step by Step.
have you guys seen
The girl from
the movie The Girl
Charles in
Next Door?
Charge. Yeah. Elijah Cuthbert.
I mean, like, first of all, very good movie. Like, if you take away the different things that, like, obviously it's about certain bad things, but it's a fantastic movie, and I did fall in love with her quite a lot throughout that.
Yeah, she was Jack Bauer's daughter on 24.
Okay. I think we're all in opinion here, and also you've got Tara Reid and
Van Wilder.
Van Wilder.
Write that down.
Yeah,
Write this down.
Yeah, right.
Tara Reid. Write that down.
Yep. Go ahead and write that one.
And then she had thousands of dollars of plastic surgery that made her look millions of dollars worse.
Yeah.
That's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
Well, guys, football's underway. Fall camp is underway. Take us to Camp Higher Ground. Chad will be there tomorrow. And we're gonna hear more and more
Tomorrow
about it.
night practice,
Tomorrow night.
baby.
Well, night practice.
Royer might be there.
Maybe Royer gets in there. Royer, I want you to go because I do want to see your thoughts on the way that Sorsby slings it. Man, his just mechanics are just on his release.
Kelsey will be there. If you notice, Brett, in the
Yeah.
Pete Thomas quarterback article,
Mm-hmm.
2 of those photos were credited to Kelsey Brindle.
Oh, baby.
Because she's
budding
now a
star.
photographer.
A
here at
budding
Bearcat Journal.
star. If you will. A budding star.
Epic.
I
The
did want to
dog
give
you
a
read.
couple quick shout outs real fast. Jack Griffith named he got a mention going on around Twitter about player
One of the
personnel on
best
the
young,
rise.
personal, player
And
personnel.
then Vanessa Gillis, back-to-back game-winning goals for Team Canada at the Olympics. A couple other Olympians are rocking and rolling. I know Jordan Thompson's got a quarterfinal game tomorrow for women's volleyball, and then the hammer throw is coming up, I think, tomorrow as well. So a lot of Olympic things going on. Always fun to watch that. But anything more in closing, guys?
Nope. Rock it out.
All right. Sounds good. Well, hey, another fantastic show, guys. And, stay tuned in because this is when things really, really rev up. So for my broadcast partners, podcast partners, and good friends in life, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, and Ryan Royer, I am Brent Young. Yet another fantastic BVP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.